All right, good morning again, everyone, and welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel. It's Monday morning at the shop. Weekend after the Daytona 500. Kind of watched a little bit of it, but not a lot. I was busy doing other stuff, working around the house. Went to Top Golf last night in Jacksonville, which you may have seen the shorts. Not gonna lie, my shoulder's a little sore. It's been a little while since I've swung a golf club, but we had a good time up there with some friends. But probably the main part of this video, we're gonna be doing some dyno work on the lawn dart. We also have to dyno the Viper, which I'll definitely show you guys that. Don't think it'll be in this video, but maybe it will. See how long the video kind of ends up working. The lawn dart is kind of just getting a checkup. So Dick bought some big nasty injectors for it to get it ready for a potential switch to alcohol race fuel. But we're gonna just check and make sure, because where he was at on the ethanol, he was actually out of injector with his 160 pound per hour injectors on the racing ethanol that we run. So he stepped up the injector size to compensate for that, but they also may get him into some alcohol fueling, which he and I are gonna go over that once we actually get the car on the dyno, look at some of the data. I think he's already here this morning. Let's ride around and see what do you got? What we got? CJ's putting transmission fluid in the Viper, which if you guys haven't ever seen that trick before, that's just a garden sprayer. Fill it up full of whatever fluid you need, and you can put fluid in hard to reach areas without having to put the bottle in. Sometimes it makes a little bit of a mess, especially if you walk away from it and forget that it's going in, because we put a little zip tie on the handle to hold them on. Oh yeah, speaking of that, there's a mess right there. Yeah, just like that. If you're not, I meant to do that. If you're not, yeah. See, we're just showing you guys an example of what can happen. But anyways, yep, Dick's backing in with the lawn dart, and we're gonna make some horsepower. All right, well, while you guys are here on the channel, please subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment. Been trying to get caught up on comments down in the comment section. I try to interact with you guys as much as I can. And yeah, we appreciate everybody watching. Seems like the channel's got some real good momentum lately. So let's see if we can keep it up. Thanks again for watching. Let's get to dyno tuning the lawn dart. All right, for those of you that haven't seen the lawn dart, this is the lawn dart. Car we built a while back. Dick and his sons have been running it, which if you go to YouTube, Dick also has a channel. It's just Dick Deason, 2 separate words. He's got all kinds of videos on the lawn dart on his channel. Yeah, he's been putting this thing through its paces. It is a stock block 5.3 combination, and it's fast. It's a no-time car, so I'm not gonna tell you what it runs, and we're shooting for a solid 600 horsepower today. Yep. But we're gonna put this thing on the dyno and do a little bit of work. All right, well, we are loaded up on the dyno, and it's been a while since I've been in this car, but I forgot just how freaking cool this thing is. It's a 63 Dart. If you didn't know the story behind the car, Dick actually took his learner's test for the driver's license stuff in this car. It's been in his family for, I think, since like the mid-60s, and now it's a full-on race car. It's been an awesome project to be a part of. Like, cars, I mean, yeah, I'm proud of the stuff we do, but like, this car is super cool. Like, just underneath it, it's 25.3 on the roll cage, so chassis legal for 650 at 3,600 pounds. The car's not that fast. Yeah, it's not that fast. Nope. So anyways, I gotta get to work doing some tuning. We're gonna try and figure out these injectors, but anyways, we'll get to work, do a little bit of driving, tuning, and then I'll be back when we start making some actual pulls for some boost numbers. So, let me get to work, and I'll see you in a second. So, let's make a pull. 5 PSI dome pressure. Let's see what it makes. See how close we get to that 600 horsepower. It was definitely rich coming coming up. Alright, so attempt number 2. First run, we actually got into a traction control table that I forgot to turn off. Basically above about 80 miles an hour, Dick had a traction control engineered into the table that if the rear exceeded the front by 5 miles an hour, it pulled a bunch of timing out of it. The thought was to try and save it on a gear change. Sometimes cars will spin on the gear change. So it was in that table because the front tires aren't spinning and the rear tires are. So this time it's not going to pull that 15 degrees of timing out. It actually made 500 horsepower that last time on like 10 pounds of boost. But it pulled all the timing out right after it made the peak horsepower. So this run will make, should be a little bit happier, should make a little more power. We'll see. That sounded a little more better. Alright, so basically those two pulls are effectively the same tune, with the exception of the timing reduction for the traction control. And you can see the screen, same boost, caps out at like 11, 12 PSI, but the timing control, traction control takes over and pulls a bunch of timing out, makes like 350 horsepower, 352, or 576 with the timing back in it. So just timing has made the difference between 352 and 576, so 220 horsepower. And then already we've basically hit our 600, 599. So we're good, we're done. We hit our 600 on only 11.6 pounds of boost, I believe it was in the computer. No time cars. Well, let's turn her up a little bit now. Let's see what we can do to dial this thing in even more. Well, we're already at 600, so we're doing good. Well, this thing is all kinds of in my face. I don't know if this camera angle is going to work or not. But, pull number 3, 10 pounds of dome pressure, should make 15-ish pounds of boost. And yeah, should make a little more power. Everything was, man, that thing was still going, wasn't it? Still climbing on power. All right, that was nice clean pull. Look at some data and go look at the laptop for the dyno. Make another one here in a minute. All right, so for this pull, well, that camera's close. We're gonna go ahead and get back up to where we normally run this thing at the track. Try to shoot for 25, 30 PSI and go ahead and turn it out to 8100. Yep, 8100, that's what I said. This thing turns that at the track and has over, I think right at 100 runs on the car since we put it together for Dick and the guys. So that pull made 740 something, I think. Can't remember the exact numbers. But that was 17 pounds of boost at 7,300 and the power was still going up like crazy. So we're going to, like I said, we're gonna make this pull. This one should be pretty spicy. Boost curve that time. She came up and kind of parked on about 800 to the wheels. Peak out here at 7,600, 820 5.5 horsepower tires. And that was, at that point, about 22 pounds of boost, 23 pounds of boost. So what we're doing now is we are putting a fresh set of plugs in it, and we're going to do a check, like another pull just like that one. Maybe just another 2 or 3 PSI of dome pressure to try and make maybe 25, 27 pounds of boost for the whole curve. I actually did a little bit of work on the target dome pressure by RPM to try and get up and make 25, 27 PSI for the whole time we're making boost. And we're gonna shut it off, read all the plugs, and decide on adding timing, see if we can see what it wants for timing at that boost level. And then Dick will have that information when he goes to the track. If we can gain some power, he'll have that information to try and see what he wants to do. We'll see if we can get a trend in how the spark plugs are reading, or when he takes it to the track, he'll know, okay, well, if I add 1 degree here, I know just about how far the timing mark will move. Yes, it's different at the track because the pulls are longer, but at least some kind of data here should help him out when they go to the track. But got a good handle on the injectors now. Now it's just down to the fine tuning. All right, well, let's see what we can do on this pole. Double check everything. Yep, that's got what I want there. Got our boost on. That was spicy. I don't know if my head's in the picture or not. There I am. Cool. Well, now we'll look at all the spark plugs, see what we think for timing. I'll look at the boost here. Let's see if I got boost. I turned that 8172 RPM. And right there, we're making 30.1 pounds of boost. So that is exactly what we were targeting. At the very top. Cool. All right, time to look at data. And then we will go on from there. All right, so pull number 6 for the lawn dart today. The only difference this pull is going to be the little bit of timing change we've done based off the spark plug reads. Typically, when I increase the timing, I see a slight reduction in the boost. Whether or not the engine is just being more efficient, I think that's what's happening. So we brought in 2 degrees by 8,000, and then it kind of tapers off to nothing by 6,000, where it rolls up on the converter. So what we should see is no change on the bottom of the pull, but we should see if it's wanting the extra timing, which based off of what I saw on the plugs, I think it's going to want the extra timing, and we should see some kind of gain by 8,000. So let's see what we get. Did it seem like it gained any up top? Gained a little bit before peak, but nothing at peak. That's interesting. Yeah, it might be that up high we had the right amount in it, but there below peak, it really didn't gain a whole lot. Interesting. Well, download this data log, compare it to the last one, make sure that it did what I thought it did on where I programmed the timing.
Well, that's why we test stuff.
That's why we test. All right, so I thought you guys might want to see kind of what I'm looking for, at least with spark plug stuff. Maybe this will show up, but basically I'm trying to get, you can kind of see the discoloration on the very tip of the plug, or the tip of the electrode. See, I'm just starting to get it there. Just starting to get a little bit of a mark there. That one's hotter than these two. Same with these over here. So what we're gonna do now, typically the LS's, the corners run hotter, just for whatever reason. So I'm gonna go add 1/2 degree to these three. And I'm gonna add 0.7 or 0.6. I haven't completely decided yet, because this one you can still see the light all the way onto the tip. So that one definitely wants some more. So we'll do that here on the dyno. And then once it leaves here, because the load is different on the racetrack, we'll pull 1.5 degrees or so out of the actual table. And then that should just get it back to being safe. Because the poles are longer on the track, it'll put more heat in the spark plugs. But the individual cylinder balancing, from what I've seen, when we do that on the dyno, it still agrees with what the car wants at the racetrack. So, put all these back in. Probably make one more pull, just to make sure we don't go backwards. Because where it didn't pick up power, I actually went back kind of in the middle. Because what you can see our power here, it really didn't pick up much up top here, but it lowered the boost. So more power per pound of boost, but not necessarily more like overall power. So we, like I said, we made more power, but we made the same power, but at less boost. So kind of all, it's a balancing act of trying to figure out where these things want to be exactly. My preference is going to be to actually pull the timing back and run more boost instead of, and still have the timing conservative. So get this thing all back together, one more pull, probably call it a day. But that last pull was tickle over 900. It's 7,300. I think we're making, let's see, what are we making? We're making 27 pounds of boost right there. So let's make one more pull and see what happens. All right, well, one more pull. Same boost, or at least same dome pressure. And we'll see what it does with the boost in relation to the timing. See if we gain any power, because we did increase the timing in those couple of cells. But really the power should be about the same, because I've taken timing a little bit out where it didn't help. So I took timing out there, but then increased in the middle cylinders. So see what happens. That's what we have dynos, right? You tune, learn. This is a pretty good argument for, at least when you're making a huge switch with your injectors, especially across different brands of injectors. Like when I change within the Holley brands, pretty much just plug the different injector data in, like the different selection for the injector data, and it seems pretty close. Like if I'm going from an 80 to say a 160, click that button in the Holley, and everything still is pretty well close to what it was. This going from 160 to a 225, 245, I think it was 245. But being that it's a different brand and different style injector when it comes to the solenoid that's operating it, that makes a pretty big difference. So interesting things like that, that it's worth getting back on a dyno. Yeah, you can just kind of chuck it in there and wing it, but what we were finding out is it needed a substantial reduction in the base fuel table, like 25%, because even with the Holly adjusting for the larger injectors, they were still acting even larger than what they were on paper. Anyways, let's dyno. My hope is that the power is just like what it was, because like I said, we globally reduced the timing for most of the engine, but we increased the millicylinders by a little bit. So hopefully what we should see, what's the peak? That's exactly what it was before. So sweet. All right, well that wraps up another fun day on the dyno. We kind of drug it out really throughout the whole day, because what's not on camera is me running back and forth over to the actual fab shop to help out over there. Plus we stopped and ate lunch. Like just, you know, we drug this along for a few hours. It's 7 o'clock now, but time to get home, have some dinner. Right at 900 horsepower on 28 pounds of boost with a 5.3 stock block, stock crank. But like I said earlier, go check out Dick's channel, Dick Deason on YouTube. So when you go to his channel, you can go back and see a lot of the race footage that they've done for when they've been out racing the car, which is actually kind of a lot. He's got some neat camera angles, you know, from being around, I guess you could say from being around me. He's picked up on doing extra camera angles just because they're cool. Some suspension cameras, a 360 in-car camera. So like I said, that's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you guys next time.